And what I wanted to get into was Black August. If you've noticed, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I have been resharing the series that I did last year for Black August, which is where I'm breaking down the business of America, right? Like the business mindset. Like, here's how this works. When you kind of can look at the framework of it and see, oh, yeah, this is about business. It takes it a little bit less personal. Again, similar to like those 15 pillars of supremacy culture. I anticipate people being defensive. I anticipate people not knowing how to have these conversations because of fear of open conflict. I also anticipate people aligning with American exceptionalism because it's sold like a really good business idea, right? Like it's an MLM marketing scheme. It's the same way, our parents were like Avon ladies and our, uncles, dads, and those guys were, door to door salesmen. Same principles, same marketing tactics and all. And that is what my Black August series is about, is the American business of capitalism, how it started, where it went. And Black August began in the 70s and within actually the Black prison population, discussing Black political prisoners, right? Like people that are actually being jailed for wanting freedom. Good morning, Laura. So today's three talking points. I'm going to try to be timely today. Even though I miss you guys, I am going to be timely. Three talking points. One, Black August as liberation work, right? Understanding that, what that looks like. Community as survival and resistance in another article. And in this article, I will be sharing, I created a chat form for a community resource map. We have everything that we need within us, amongst us. And the more that we recognize that in our own areas, in our own spheres, in our own ecosystems, the less likely we would be to be dependent upon these systems that are, one, failing, two, here to oppress us all in one way or another. Three, Black August as education. Ding. So, sip of coffee, get your water, your hot beverage, and let's get into it. So, one, hi, Rabbi, how are you? Black August isn't just about remembering the past. It's about connecting our history of resistance to present day struggle for liberation. It asks us, how do we honor those who came before us through our actions today? Like I often tell you, we are not new. We are not new. Every generation is not new. This is something that I find very prevalent inside of white-bodied people, right? Without an ethnic connection, without a community connection, that have just become white and identify as such. You're not new, every generation. You are a part of a lineage. You are a part of people who struggled, who survived, who overcame, who oppressed. Multiple truths exist, but you are not new. That is a standard line, right? So recognizing that it's connecting, it's a reconnection journey and saying, what did they do? What worked, right? Because you're here. You're still here. You're still here. Even through oppression in your own indigenous lands, even through when we think about European oppression, Christianization is that first oppression that happened to white bodied people, right? The Crusades and all of that coming through European lands and colonizing white bodied people. You guys were the first people aggressed by this violence. And that is a necessary entry point, remembrance. I'm trying to think of the word, but it is necessary to be aware of that, right? Put a pin in it, unpack it, do whatever you need to do with it. But what we need to do in order to really move forward in liberation work is for white body people to recognize you were colonized first and foremost. So you're not saving us from anything. You haven't been able to save yourselves for thousands of years. So what does that look like now that you're stepping into your liberation journey? Now that you're stepping into your healing journey? Now that you've been awakened on your anti-racism journey? What does that next step look like? So here we are with Black August, learning all of these truths, dismantling American capitalism and the business of it. As I was saying in the live when it was shoddy, what I'm discussing in the Black August series in August last year and again this year is the structure of the business of America. When you could take it out of this concept of like it being so personal and individual, it makes things easier to dismantle, right? So similar to those 15 pillars of supremacy culture, I'm never offended when people are defensive with me. I'm like, okay, I get that. We have to move through those things, right? That's one of those 15 pillars of supremacy culture. I'm not angry when somebody's like, I just don't know how to have these conversations. I just don't know how to talk to people. That's fear of open conflict. That's perfectly normal. When you can see that it is a systemic thing, it makes it less personal. It releases a lot of shame and guilt in your liberation work, right? Lisa says missionaries hit Ireland in early 400 AD. Yeah, I remind people, I think that I love the work that I do because I embody both of these lineages, right? I embody the first colonized and the last, right? Ireland and the enslaved African. And I think that there's something deeply powerful in my own lineage and my own connection to that that makes me distinctly suited for the work, right? Not saying better or anything, but definitely suited. And it's definitely a work that I embody because of that. And when you go back to those things and you recognize that the structure of American exceptionalism, right? So again, I'm not offended when people are like, but America is the best country. I'm like, of course you believe that. It's an MLM, right? Right. My mother was an Avon lady too. I'm sure that there was it was taught that this was superior makeup or sense and all of those things, even when it wasn't, right? How many fathers, dads, uncles, brothers, cousins were door-to-door salesmen, car salesmen, et cetera, et cetera. These are all schemes to sell, and schemes in the way of plans, and schemes in the way of sometimes they scamming you. America is a scam. So if you go through my Black August series, you will see I even do business correlations for background. That is my first major was a business marketing major. So when I delve into it from that end, I'm like, delicious. This makes so much sense to that part of my brain, right? So again, talking point one, Black August as liberation work. Black August isn't just about remembering the past. It's about connecting our history of resistance to the present day struggle for liberation. So the reframe that I offer here is from commemoration to continuation. Too often we're commemorating, right? We're lauding up these people, and that's necessary, right? To commemorate them, to remember them, to sit with them, to honor our ancestors, those who came before us, those who are still here, alive and well, still continuing the work that they started in their own 20s, right? In their own teens, 30s, and they're still doing this work in their elder years, right? However, there's a continuation, right? So Black August isn't just about commemorating martyrs. It's about continuing the struggle they fought. So we honor by doing, not just remembering. So when you're sitting down and you're like, okay, what am I doing today? Right? How do I carry that torch on? A few times, I've loved that we came up with like the metaphor, the analogy of this is a relay race, right? Pass the baton. It doesn't stop. The race didn't end. It is the baton is simply being passed, right? So even with the rest, reset, and resist, when I took a break, I just passed the baton. There are plenty of other liberation educators, healing workers, however you anti-racism educators. There's so many people out here doing this work. So when I rest, it doesn't stop. I just pass the baton. I say, here's some other people that are doing similar work. Here's some other people that you may align with, right? Take a break your own self. Pass the baton within your own circle. You've been the person that's making sandwiches every single day for every single march. Pass that baton, baby. It's time. It's time. Let it go. Set it free. Take a breath. Rest. Get some clarity. Reset. Get back to the resistance. Right? That's the kind of thing. More coffee. My brain is still trying to get back online, coming to work. So we're going to be easing into these lives. Two, community as survival and resistance. This is where the community resource map comes in. If you guys notice, I think in February and March, because I always be like, oh, I get 2 months in here, right? I get Black History Month, and then March is my Irish History Month. And I combined showing the resistance of both of these people throughout history. So that kind of just lets you know what you come from, who you come from. These are my people, so this is my story to tell you. These may not be your background, and that's fine. Find the resistance of your own people, commemorate and continue, right? So from enslaved Africans building maroon communities to incarcerated organizers resisting inside of prison walls to present day mutual aid networks, community has always been our pathway to survival and freedom. Right. So the reframe that I offer here is from scarcity to abundance. Supremacy culture tells us there's not enough land, there's not enough resources. not enough freedom. And Black August reframes this by showing how our people created abundance in the harshest conditions by sharing food, knowledge, and joy. Always going to come back to that. Liberation work needs joy built in, right? As an example, I continuously say that a lot of my community building work literally comes from being in abject poverty growing up. I never felt, and you will find that with tons of people. And I don't glorify poverty. I'm not that person. There's nothing fun about being poor, and it's often very expensive. However, growing up in New York City specifically, because I also think that it's very regional too. Growing up in New York City, because of the way we're stacked in apartment buildings, right? Usually you have you have resources at hand, right? In that building, there's somebody that does hair. There is somebody that watches kids. There's somebody that cooks a plate, right? So there's always a way to work it. And it's like, you know what? Hey, I may not have the money for the plate today, but I'll watch your kids or do something. There was always some sort of bartering or something happening. I shared many times when a friend of mine used to work downtown at Schlotsky's Deli. We lived in the Bronx on 187th and Beaumont. And she would bring her kids over like 5 o'clock in the morning because, yeah, I was taking my sister at the time to school, and her son and daughter went to the same school my sister did. So she would drop them off. Like, and I would take them. And then our other friend would pick them all up, right? And I would be doing dinner. And so all of that sort of worked and it worked together. And that's part of what that community resource now, because fast forward to today in 2025, I still operate like that. I still very much move with community. Right now, I'm doing a fundraiser for my psychosomatic practitioner training. And I'm at $1,700 for a $4,000 goal. And yes, that benefits community, right? Because I know that there's people that's like, well, if you want better education, pay for it yourself. You're right. No, I had a lot of bills this month. I probably would have, but I had to pay a $2,200 water bill because I had some leaky pipes. So, but also, what happens is the better I'm doing, the more I can offer my community, right? And in that giving, I did set up a tiered structure of what would be given based on giving tiers, but everybody benefits from that, right? So if we were crowdfunding more things like this, I've shared that a lady in the community already has a micro school and is like, oh, sis, you don't need to get a place. You could use this place. Okay, great. I could start an after school program, a weekend program, and a whole summer program. She doesn't use it in the evenings, the weekends, or the summer. Abundance in community. So that community resource map and what Black August teaches us is that one, we've always done this ourselves. When you look at any immigrant group, any ethnic immigrant group that was cast out of mainstream society, they've always found a way to create their own economy, their own living, their own employing each other. And that is super important. And for me, that is very much what Black August is about, is deepening your connection to community. Who around you can do certain things. That community resource map is an excellent tool. Right. And my goal is to continue to add to it and then go like statewide and eventually district wide and whoever chooses to share, because obviously it's private unless, I ask, would you like to be shared on this community resource map? But when you think about all of the things that we are trained to do, to be paid to do, those are things that could be used in community, even if you're not paid to do it, right? Oh, you know how to right now, back to the leaky pipes. I don't even want to. Let me show you guys. Let me show you. Oh my God. So it's just been leaking and my water bill has just been crazy. My thing is broken. My thing is broken. See, it's out. It's leaking. It's full of here. It is soaked completely in my floorboards and my water bill's like 8 grand. It was silent leaking. Silent leaking. Anyhow, maybe you have a trade and you're a plumber. And I love that for you, right? And so maybe a weekend program for your kids, right? That's resources. We have everything that we need around us, within us. Yeah, Kavita, honey, I tired. Okay, tired. It was a sneaky little leak in December. The pipes had burst. So it was leaking underground for some time until the snow dissipated. And then We fixed that part, but it had cracked the seals around that, and I did not realize it, and it was behind a board, and so here we are, and that is what it is. Anyway, point is, like it's community, right? Who could come in, right? And if we know that already about ourselves, right? Instead of turning around and saying, "Oh my God, I got to stress about finding X amount of dollars for a plumber." What could you offer someone? And part of that being in community is already having relationships with these people, right? It's not like calling a plumber and being like, hey, so this is what I have to offer. It is about the people that are around you. How do you create a deeper community so you can just call someone up? Right. Because I mean, I have called someone up. It's sitting there. He's turned off that water that's going through there. It's leaking still slowly. And he's going to come and figure that out. And hopefully soon. Um, but all of that to say is from that's the idea of going from scarcity to abundance. We all feel deeply overwhelmed right now, right? Everybody. And it's like, how are we going to survive? And my answer to that is always community. I say community is wealth. And I quite literally mean that, right? It's getting to live a little bit smaller, learning how to share your resources, right? To not feel like to not do that hoarding, right? And that's a difficult thing when we have so little, right? It's like, well, I don't have much. But the more we work together, the more we actually have. Laura says, I'm sorry about the pipes. That sucks. Yeah, yeah, thank you, Laura. Ta-da-da. Oh, Laura said, and I do cash rides. What you could offer the community in a post recently, but I just realized it might be to trade. So when it be a cash ride, it could be a trade ride. But you know what? Cash is also trade, right? Like this is gas money, right? Oh, hey, fill up my tank for the week and you get 3 rides. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like no more than 50 miles. You can get creative. You could do those things because this is not utopia. This is not saying that we're not all surviving capitalism. This is saying how do we survive capitalism together, right? Tiffany says, my book club just read The Service Berry, Abundance and Reciprocity in the Natural World. Goes right along with everything you're saying. I love that alignment. I love that. And yes, right? Biomimicry, I am not as well versed as there is a reader that I have here. And God, I hope that they see this and read the article and they can get into it. They are amazing. I meant to like screenshot and put a pin in it. But biomimicry is important. We are nature, right? That's why, I had season of south, season of rejuvenation, all of these season of renewal because we are nature, right? That's why I'm like, hey, the fall is coming. We're going to get a little bit slower. We're going to come inside. We're going to make like some soups. We're going to have some workshops. Like, we're going to do pop culture, right? Because our TV shows are coming back on. And like, we could do decolonization work through TV works. Child, I just finished watching Hunting Wives. What is that about? Like, there are, the fall is for things that happen inside. Tiffany says she talks about gifting economy versus capitalism. I like that. I would like to hear some more about that. I may go into that and take a look. Send me a link or something because my brain will forget. But all of that is moving from scarcity to abundance. Like we have everything that we need. If we all work in tandem, my house was a disaster yesterday. There's 4 of us that live here, right? Because it's me. Can you not hear me, Dinah? Can everybody hear me? Let me text it. Okay. Dinah, they can hear. Okay, everybody can hear. Hi, Karen. So anyway, that's the scarcity to abundance. Yes, yes. Thank you, Connie. Right. So reminding ourselves that it's not that there is not enough. It is that supremacy culture teaches people to hoard. I've given this example, right? I live on a block, let's say there's 10 houses. We all do not need a lawnmower. We don't. We just don't. You might need 2 lawnmowers amongst 10 houses, a leaf blower, somebody else has an edger. And if we all could do those things, right? I'm just gonna run down here and do that. Right? I'm gonna mow these 5 houses. The other one can mow the other 5 houses. Somebody walking behind blowing it away. There's so many different ways to do this, right? If I Okay, good. It's good to know, Dinah. If I'm growing vegetables, then, these are the vegetables I'm good at. I could grow the hell out of some tomatoes. Like, I cannot do collard greens. Great. But maybe you can do collard greens, right? And you start your own food revolution in your front yard, on your fire escape. These are all revolutionary acts of community, of abundance, right? And of the exact things that our people have been doing. This is not a new concept. This is not so revolutionary that it's groundbreaking, but it's something that we do need to be reminded of. And for me, that is what Black August does. It reminds us that there's power in community. There's resources in community. Things are possible in community. Like I said, I'm doing my fundraiser. And even if I don't, it's not going to be like, oh, damn, well, I didn't make my 4,000, not going to do it. No, these folks believed in me. What I'll do is I'll just go on like the whatever plan, and then instead of being $5,000. And that's okay. I'll put this towards that. Either way, I'm going to do it. And my burden has been eased. Does that make sense? So it's not, you may not always get every single thing that you need, but you will have more ease in what you're doing. And that is important. Three, because I keep saying I'm trying to keep it in time, and I'm not. I'm trying. Black August as education. This month is a time to deepen our understanding, reading, teaching our children, and engaging in collective learning. Education is a radical act when systems are designed to keep us ignorant of our own power. We already know that education in this land specifically is indoctrination. If you don't know that by now, you might have just joined me today, because I talk about it all of the time. Education is what we seek out on our own outside of these systems, because these systems are quite literally here to indoctrinate us into racism, homophobia, misogyny, patriarchy, the cis heteronormative American exceptionalism. That's it. It's done its job. It's It's not really the average reading in the United States of America is sixth grade. They don't care about education. Like, they do not. It is a lie. Have they created capitalistic workers? Love that for us. Okay, great. This business is going to run wonderfully, right? The more workers you have for the least amount of pay, the better your business is doing. That is America. Period, point blank, full stop. So, from resistance to liberation practice. Resistance can feel reactive, right? This is that reframe. Sixth grade, Tiffany. This is why I don't argue with people on the internet. I'm like, I'm not doing it to myself. you know, like I'm not doing it to myself. The average reading level in the United States of America is sixth grade. I don't argue with people on the internet. I'm like, okay, you got it. I got it. You win. You win. I shared with you guys the Threads post, and it's still, I've turned off comments on it, and like, because I'm just like, I can't do this. There's like 600 comments on there, and I swear, out of the 600, I do believe that I spoke with three separate people that actually met me with curiosity, right? And it was a very, very forward on the picture. It's a picture of me and Shady and Kier, and the caption literally on the picture. I wish I had another phone to show you. Was like, when me and my friends started school, we'll have tiered starting times, and then on my shirt right here. Actually, I was wearing the same shirt. It says "Read caption below." Points down. The caption goes into explaining neurodiverse homes and how punitive measures against lateness and, just speaking about those sort of things, right? And, how tiered starting times. The, the consensus was, I am a lazy, terrible parent who wants the world to bend to my children. And I need to teach them how to conform to the world, basically. And I was like, one person met me with a deep curiosity, and that is who I choose to engage with. I don't rage bait with people because it just makes me angry. But I chose to engage, and they were like, okay, okay, how would this work? Right? Because like the idea that so you're just gonna bring your kids to school and interrupt the teacher. You need more, like you want teachers to work 12, 14 hours. And I'm like, have you ever heard of shift work? Have you been to a college? I don't, what is happening right now? Because I think I said something that made a lot of sense. If you've been to college, there's like five different professors teaching the same class at different times. We would just take the college model and apply it through elementary, junior high, and high school, is what I'm saying. Have you ever been a shift worker? There's a warehouse somewhere that has different shifts. Another thing that people did not seem to understand is neurodiverse kids become neurodiverse adults. There are plenty of adults that don't want to show up at 6 o'clock in the morning working. That is accommodation, people. It is not asking the world to bend. It is not saying screw your class. I absolutely respect more so than I believe many. Like, because I'm upset that there is a teacher that has to be at school at 6:30 in the morning to greet my kids at 8. Because what the hell are you doing? When are you getting up? 4 o'clock in the morning? What are you doing with your children? Right. So it meets the more we meet, when I keep talking about liberation work, and I am like, if you meet the needs of that one child, the one unambiguously Black, neurodivergent, queer, trans, adopted, poor, non-Christian child, you will save the world. You will meet the needs of everybody. Did I add in disabled? You will meet everybody's needs if you meet that one child's needs. One child is who you need to focus on. The most unambiguously Black, queer, trans, neurodivergent, disabled, adopted, poor child. That's the key. Everybody would be accommodated, right? So I disengaged because I was fine with the 10 or so people that liked my comments. And I was like, hopefully they'll follow me. Like the rest of them, I'm okay with leaving you behind. Like I'm natural selection, baby. It was so insane. It was so I was like, "What?" Yeah, 6th grade, it is insane. 6th grade reading level, what is their comprehension level? I can't that so I spoke about that on the thread. I was like, "The comprehension here is like, I can't even do this with you guys because I'd have to break this down." I looked that up, and I think it's lower than the 6th grade, like, which is not awesome. Karen says, ADHD here. I can promise you that forcing me into the normal world did not end well for me after high school years. And it doesn't, right? Because we're not child centered. It really is just they want to get the hell away from you and the world. And then you wonder why these kids are adults that are suffering, right? And I am an old school Gen Xer, which means boomer light, neurodiverse kid. I was like old school ADHD. You know what I'm saying? It was so wild to me listening to the comments or reading them back. They're like, well, what about when they get a job? I'm like, maybe I don't want them to have a job. Maybe I want them to forge their own path. I don't know. Like, why is that the only thing? Then can we admit that we are teaching children simply how to be workers, right? We're not teaching them how to meet their own needs. And then we wonder why we have adults that don't meet their own needs. Like, what I suggested wasn't the most insane thing ever, right? Looking back on my life, I did high school, and then I was a very bad child. And a lot of that was my own neurodiversity. But I did night school. I loved night school. I liked summer school. I liked night school, and I volunteered for night school. You know, when I look back on it, I'm like, well, let's talk about why night school. Dimmer lights, like, right? We're going to be talking about things. Small groups, multiple ages, and like less work. Yeah, that made sense. I think I'm pretty successful. So and I recognize that I'm an outlier. I can honestly admit those sorts of things. I'm not like this is not a bootstrap story. Like if I could do it, you could do it too. I'm saying no, I did it in spite of everything else. And I'm telling you, it is not as easy as they make it seem. It is a lie. And I've been very deeply supported, community held, and lucky as fuck. And I'd like to make it less difficult for other people to be as successful as I am in the various areas of life. So, yeah, that was fun. And I did not want to do that. So I don't argue with people on the internet. So, anyway, that was the idea from resistance to liberation, right? Resistance can feel reactive, but Black August reminds us that liberation is proactive. It's a daily practice of building systems, healing, and reclaiming what was taken, right? So I did another article behind that when I was discussing Erin's Place and the community resource map about parallel systems. And that is what Black August teaches us, right? How to have systems within systems, right? It's like, you know that that's working, but creating your own ecosystem. Like, I'm not telling everybody quit their job. I get it. It's capitalism again. I am saying that what are you creating inside of that? Right? How are you changing things outside of that, not inside? You cannot change a system from the inside, right? Oh, well, I joined the this to change it from it will not change from the inside. It is 100% working as it's supposed to. I'm asking you, what are you doing for the collapse of this? I need you to be building something here within your community, getting together, right? Think like how preppers think, right? Prepare for that without the doomsday idea, right? Prepare for an ideal world. Prepare for where schools do have tiered start times. How do we prepare for that? We create it. You don't need to be the founder of something, right? I didn't, when she offered me that space, I was like, hell yeah. Yes. I wasn't like, oh, well, really? I really want to get my own bill. I don't know. You start where you are. You start right where you are. What does that look like today? You know what that looks like today? Like, there is tiered start times next week at my kids' school, right? And so, like, I'm going to put out there if somebody needs to drop their kid off early in the morning, and I live around the corner. You want to drop your kid off at my house? You think I'm cool enough? Bring them. I will go there instead of having to pay somebody extra money for extra childcare time. It's that. It is that simple. Oh, okay. Well, you know what? Hey, me and my kids are going to just be kicking it in my backyard. Do you want to drop your kids off? Hey, bring snacks. You provide dinner. This is community. This is simple. We do not need to. That was so eye opening, and I will share the threads in here too. It was so eye opening and heartbreaking. Like people were like, "Oh, so you're gonna get you're gonna be able to get millions of dollars to start a to change the education system." I'm like, who's changing it? I'm saying start a Microsoft. Like my goal is here's the curriculum. I want other people to do this. Here, it's a satellite school. Take Erin's Place. It's neuroaffirming. Here's this. Here's how to set that up. Go do it. It already exists. It's already there. Is there a church? Love that for you. Use the church. They have a community building. They're literally supposed to be. If you have a church in your community and it's not serving your community, call them to task. Call them to task. If you have a public school that's in your space, ask the district, can we use this lunchroom after hours? How do we utilize this? Ask your community. It's super important to do that. Lisa says, the master's tools cannot dismantle the master's house. And Miss Lord never lied. You cannot, right? So you have to create something new. I'm over time. Y'all just let me run on. Listen, let's wrap this up again. I love you guys. I'm so glad. I'll be back on Friday too. So the 3 talking points. 1, Black August is as liberation work. This is a time to turn around and really sit down and think about your liberation work. Where is that going? What are you looking forward to? What do you want out of your liberation work, right? And spare me the big picture, right? Like obviously what do you want for you? Okay, because if you want longevity and sustainability in liberation work, you gotta want to be free. And you gotta want it for you. You know what I want for me? I want exactly what I'm doing. I'm chilling in my cottage, doing work that I love with people that I care about, people that I love, that also love me and show up. I'm doing it. I want that for you too, right? I want a school that affirms the needs of neurodiverse kids. Okay, I'm gonna make that. Okay. That's what do you want for you? So what you want for yourself is going to be what reverberates out to your community, right? If you have not put yourself first, I'm really big on that. If you have not set your own self free, if you have not recognized your own oppression, if you have not sat down and said, what do I want to be liberated from? You will not have the sustainability. Everything that I want for myself and my children, I want for you and yours. Okay. And I'm going to bust my ass to get it for me and my kids every day and twice on Sunday. I'm going to do the same for yours, right? But it's because I'm deeply in tune with what I want and how free I want to live. And I want to be able to get up and move as I want to move. And I want that for you too, right? So get very clear this rest of this month on what you want from liberation work for yourself. Okay. 2, community as survival and resistance. Fill out the resource map. Okay. If you don't want to fill out mine, that's on you. I'm just trying to utilize my platform. And for those who want to share, keep on sharing, keep on sharing, keep on sharing. Let's get a serious statewide district zip code. I like block if we can. I'm old enough to remember phone books. My vision for this is like the phone book. Okay, gardening. Like, how do we do this? How do we utilize that, right? Like, oh, I need a plumber. Okay, I need childcare. Oh, I need an educator. Oh, I need an advocate. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? Right? Like, get that together. Create your own resource map. I prefer, both, do both, right? So we can have one big collective one. And then 3, Black August is education. Move beyond indoctrination. Do the work of educating yourself, right? Of really truthfully learning who you are and the people that you come from and girding up your own resilience. Do. Let me see. Taylor says, so I made it back to this space and your lives. So glad you were doing it. Ah, thank you, Taylor. Tiffany says, this message is so timely in regards to the book. I love the synchronicity. Thank you. No, thank you, right? Because that is the work of Black August. It is that education. It is turning around. And this is why I believe in seeking out different sources. I will never, and again, listen, if you have an educator that is sitting in front of you, and I've been saying this for years, I've been doing this work a long time. As soon as my ego gets so big that I think I'm the only one, leave me. Unfollow, block. I'm no longer safe. That's a cult, my friends. Okay. I am not the only person doing this work. I am not the end all be all to anything, to anything. Like Kina Reed of Divesting from Whiteness is brilliant. And I love this quote and I always use it. And she says, Black genius is collective. It's collective wisdom. And she is correct, right? Sometimes there's certain things I've never read. Like when I first started doing this, I had not read a Bell Hooks book, Audre Lorde book. Never in my life. And people were like, oh, or Resma Medica. I had never read any of those things, but it just was what was true in my body and what I was sharing. And that is what you need to tap into. That's your education. That's your lineage because it is a collective wisdom. It is an embodiment. It is somatic. It is a truth that is within you that already exists. My job is just to remind you that it exists within you. If that resonates with you, follow, subscribe, keep on rocking with me because I'm pretty fucking awesome. And so are you. All right. I will be back on Friday. We're gonna just keep easing into these lives. September, we are going to decimate the Gilded Age. Cause what? God, that was a crazy series that I'm absolutely in love with. So September is going to be about the Gilded Age. I'm really excited for that. That's going to be fun. There's some other things like workshops coming up. We have the self-love, radical self-love meditation coming up with myself and Kokai. A few things. I'll put it in there. But we're going to ease into it and take our time. All right. I love you guys. Thank you for showing up again. Thank you for treating me like a human and not a commodity. That is deeply appreciated. And I hope you feel the same way. Binge it, Kavita. Binge it. Binge it. Binge it. It is so freaking delicious in so many ways. The writing is phenomenal. There's a lot of truth. There's a lot of embellishment. There's just a lot of joy. And the Vanderbilts in there is giving, honey. I love it. It's really good. And I plan on this fall and winter, we're bringing Cinema and Conjure back with myself and Lady Speech. And we're just going to be real chill. Think of it like stews, right? Like winter, is a perpetual stew, right? Like you have a crock pot. Does everybody know what a perpetual stew is? It is like you have a stove pot or crock pot. Nowadays it's crock pot, before it was like a cauldron in the fire. But whatever is in the house just kind of gets tossed into that broth. Oh, the celery's almost done. Chop that up, chuck it in. That is what our fall winter lineup is going to be, a perpetual stew. Kavita says, but I've been waiting for the whole 3rd season to be played. I think it just ended last week. I'm going to go check my own self. The first 2 are great. But listen, I think the 3rd season is done. Matter of fact, let me Google that while we're sitting here, honey. Oh, is the sky. God, it's so slow. Okay. I think it is. Yes, it is. Mia says yes. Thank you. Mia says yes. And yes, the internet also says yes. I did believe that that last one, I don't want to spoil it. It's so good. Watch it. All right. I love you guys for real, for real, for real. Kavita said that's why I'm ready to binge. I think we have 2 more episodes. No, there's no more episodes of the of season 3. It's done. It's over with. Watch it. Okay. I want a time for people to ingest it. And September, we are going to dissect it in like a really fun way. And I kind of love the pop culture idea of, like I said, like perpetual stew. Just chuck it into the pot. Let's talk about it. Let's dissect it. Let's deconstruct it. Let's keep building. All right. That's it. Oh, they're in Australia? Could be, could be. But that's okay because you'll be caught up by September. All right. Bye. See you Friday.